National Coach of the Year and now two-time Big 12 Coach of the Year, thanks in part to the efforts of a certain National Player of the Year.
Yassiana Presley, we got to see her play just like we expect her to play last night, leading all players on the court with kills.
So something we did not see from Baylor is having them play on the right side of the net under new COVID precautions. They will be exclusively on that side of the net here today as TCU flips to the opposite bench and just about ready to get underway. 800 fans made their way out yesterday to support Baylor in their home return. And the opening point able to strike for TCU and the Horned Frogs. A confident swing from Michaela Myers, who will quickly come off for the libero. So TCU was really able to hang in there those first two sets with the number 2 team in the nation yesterday. Just could not close either of them out. Baylor quickly working through that third set, though, to make a short evening of it, a little under an hour and a half. We'll see if TCU sees the same benefits of now having a match under their belts as the Baylor Bears did last weekend. Already a nice rally building here.
Julia Adams seeing a lot of swings early on in this match on the outside for TCU, and I think we'll see a lot of that not only tonight, but this season.
Block from Baylor, back over to TCU. And right down the middle, a start for Lachey Harper, former UCF Knight.
A long rally, you see both sides kind of just trying to keep the ball in play. Eventually someone's going to put this ball away, though, I'm sure of it.
As Presley wants a touch at the net, there's no indication of said touch, so it is TCU with the first 2 points, and what a rally for that elusive second point.
Good look at it again there. Yassiana Presley trying to swing off those hands, but just a little bit high.
And an ace for the Horned Frogs. This was a Baylor team that had 6 aces yesterday, just a couple for TCU. With that said, there were only 2 service errors by the Horned Frogs yesterday, limiting their mistakes at least from the service line.
I think service errors is always a category that tells how locked in a team is, because you know that they're focusing on those small controllables.
You could argue Baylor yesterday was trying to be a little more aggressive with their serve, so they did have more miscues from behind the line, and they can make up for that later in the point because they have certain left arm swinging on the right pin like Ms. Vandermark. Speaking of left pin, that time it's the right arm of Julia Adams. Adams last year, all Big 12 rookie squad. Such a talented freshman class last year, injecting talent into this TCU roster for Coach Kramer.
A strong group of sophomores coming back, those freshmen last year, because they got that experience in the NIVC tournament.
Presley will cut the deficit down to 2 with her kill. Yassiana yesterday hit .448. Her 14 kills led all strikers on either side of the net. She came into today just 13 kills shy of 1,500.
It's a lot of kills, and something tells me she's going to get there today.
And remember, the senior, like all seniors, will be welcome to come back next year with another bonus year of eligibility. If she does so, I don't know what the point is of having record books.
I think it should just be a big file that says Yassiana Presley, comma, Queen.
Adams with the serve. That time goes long. Baylor will inch back within 2 once again. Lauren Harrison will rotate in on that front row in favor of Campbell Bowden, who made her Baylor debut last night. Harrison made her debut against Kansas.
Talking about Campbell Bowden, Coach McGuire was just so excited about how consistent her passing was last night. We talked earlier about how that was a big reason why Baylor was so strong offensively, to have so many good players on that back line in Campbell Bowden.
Step 1, put Lauren Harrison back on the court at the net. Step 2, Harrison with the block. Pretty good return on investment for Coach Ryan McGuire.
Absolutely. Talked about it yesterday, but how she didn't really even get a spring with this team, but the chemistry is there with the setter, Callie Williams, and it seems like she's been playing with this team for years.
Yeah, both teams really missed out on the spring. Ryan McGuire probably thinks their passing would be even better right about now if they had gotten that spring in with some new players. TCU missed out on basically 30 days working together because Jill Kramer, with 2 new assistant coaches, was welcoming them in after spring break, so they had put off some of their time together. And, well, of course, the pandemic kicked in, and that meant it wasn't until the 1st of August that her new coaching staff had a chance with these players. You see Baylor now pulling back within 1.
Kira McGee doing a great job of seeing that right sideline and finding it quick. She is going to get a lot of sets. She was extremely effective last year, had Shelly Stafford to tag team in the middle, but got so many kills and blocks of her own, and now she is the main one in the middle.
Well, Lachey Harper does enough with the block, put the burden on TCU to send it back over, unable to do so. Again, Lachey Harper out of UCF, a grad transfer, eligible immediately this year in her first year on campus. And a service error for Baylor will give TCU the advantage once again. This is going to allow the Horned Frogs not just have the serve, but Minyong will come back on and plays to Berkeley Baker. Serve from Nichols. Presley. Boy, she came gliding through, even tried to take a little something off that swing, but still carried long.
Yassiana Presley is so fun to watch in the back row because she'll swing from the right side, the middle, sometimes even the left, but really makes it hard for TCU to line up a block on a hitter when she's swinging from that many different places.
They gave Yassiana a similar look that time. It goes short and it pays off. If you see her go airborne, you are bracing defensively, and then it's not fair that she's allowed to give you the changeup.
Absolutely, kind of puts you back on your heels when you really need to be on your toes. She is not only effective, but very, very smart.
Here's Callie Williams, who had a pretty good seat for last year's national semifinal run when she had to sit out due to transfer rules on the bench. With that said, she won every single practice, according to the coaching staff last year. And Williams this year thrust into the setter's role. But it's TCU doing a nice job competing here in their second match of the young campaign.
Another benefit to Callie Williams, she being on that offside last year is always the setter that is emulating the opponent setter. So a lot of these teams, she probably knows their offense better than just about anyone because she was actually being it.
Williams dials up Harrison. And again, a couple of newcomers immediately filling some big shoes. So Baylor back within 1 here in this opening frame. The first AVCA Coaches Top 25 came out this week. Baylor, the number 2 team in the nation, and that's only good enough to get you as the second best team in the Big 12 right now. Of course, both Texas and Baylor last year were number 1 seeds in the national tournament. Bram Schreiber, your new libero this year for Baylor. It's Presley. And the Horned Frogs are going to run out of touches. We're level at 9 here in the opening set in Waco.
So exciting to see Bram Schreiber owning that libero jersey this year. Came in so highly touted, had a couple injuries here and there, but still was a big part of the team last year and is really running the show on defense already for the Bears this season.
Soup with the serve. Off the touch, no coming back. Horned Frogs will inch back ahead. Able to put it away was Myers, the transfer from Washington State, but transferring back home essentially. Former Coppell Cowgirl in high school. It's the same high school that produced a certain Chiako Obagu. And they have had a lot of success in the Dallas area, the high school ranks. Baylor again will level us at 10. Jill Kramer has to be thrilled with what she's seeing so far. They have eliminated some of those simple mistakes they were making yesterday just in communication.
Yeah, I think that's all just part of the difference between your first game of the season and your second. We talked about how they had the bye and they didn't exactly have a chance to work anything out in preseason. No one did. But having that first match behind them now is probably giving them a lot of confidence.
Swing comes from Adams. Williams keeps it playable. Nice job recovering, but ultimately the error, as it'll go just one. Every time Baylor evens it up, TCU is able to inch back ahead. With that said, Ryan McGuire is going to reach for that laminated green card for the first time today.
Saw Baylor's Marika Vandermark calling for a touch, so it sounds like she might have seen one. I'm not sure if we did or not, but maybe we can get another replay.
If only we had it on film.
If only. Oh, wait.
So again, each head coach will get 3 challenges to use at any point throughout the first 4 sets. If we go to a 5th set and get some free volleyball, they'll also get a free additional challenge.
To see coaches and what percentage of challenges they win or lose.
Based on oral history, I believe they're right on all of them. Bram Schreiber serving with a lead for Baylor here in this first frame. And a lot in the tank there for Julia Adams as she lifts off, but just a little too heavy on the swing, goes one.
Trying to go for that sharp cross-court hit that it just seems like she didn't drop her thumb as much as she meant to, but very smart idea by Julia Adams.
So this is the largest lead for Baylor, albeit just up by 2, and unable to get the pancake in time as TCU will pull back within 1.
Berkeley Baker, one of the few seniors on this TCU team, so definitely a leader for them. We see that she's been in the back row a lot of her career, has played a ton. One of the only players to play in every match last season for TCU.
What a great effort from Danny Dennison. Had a lot of room to work with to track that ball down, but ultimately the Horned Frogs unable to get it back over on 3. Now you're talking about Berkeley Baker, who played every single set last year. Here's Dennison. But Baylor reclaims that 2-point advantage. We're just about midway through this very competitive opening set in Waco. Able to get some fingertips on that swing, Kara McGee. This time they'll go to Presley.
Great swing cross court by Yassiana Presley. Callie Williams doing a great job of mixing up the offense. We saw her run a quick middle and a quick set to the outside in that one play. So rightfully so, last night, so much success for Baylor on the pins. TCU's game plan should be to try to block that better. But when you have weapons like Kara McGee in the middle, there's really not an area you can leave wide open.
Yet no matter whom you're focused on, you're neglecting somebody else.
And that is a very big reason why this team made it to the Final Four last year. You could have your rock stars, you could have your Yassiana Presleys, but if you shut one person down, there were 6 other hitters that could put the ball away as well.
Baylor puts that one away. Bears are the first of 15 here in this opening set. A good one brewing here in Wake.
Which I don't know if you're allowed to include that.
Sure. Today, Baylor, a modest 409 hitting percentage with Yassiana Presley. 6 kills already. That puts her, again, 7 shy of 1,500. Horned Frogs hitting a $1.36 at the moment. So Baylor with its largest advantage here in this opening set, in which TCU has, for the most part, led up until these latter points.
Smart tip down the line, but Emily Van Slate saw it coming for Baylor's defense.
Nice awareness on the back row for TCU as they are back within a pair. TCU trying to do something that Baylor's last 19 opponents here in Waco have not been able to do, and that's pick up a victory. A 19-match winning streak, including yesterday, dating back to the 2018 season for Baylor. They went 12-0 last year. Obviously, Yassiana Presley, a big part of that.
Baylor's done a really good job of making home court advantage a real thing. I think teams know that. They see that statistic and saw their success last season, and it's a scary place to come play in the Farrell Center.
Not just good on the court, but great support in the crowd, especially last year when they broke their attendance record multiple times. capping out at over 7,300 against the Longhorns last year in that national clash. And let's see if a timeout is granted to Jill Kramer and TCU. Horned Frogs, we mentioned, we're sitting on anywhere from a 1 to a 2 point lead much of this first set, but Baylor now with the biggest discrepancy, obviously not insurmountable. Right now a 4 point lead for Ryan McGuire's women. So again, just week 2 here in Beach, which has become more and more rare, but they're going to have some decisions to make. Might be a little bit of sand getting tracked onto the court. Baylor comes out of the timeout from TCU and now again grows that lead to 5. There's 3 brand new names shining up front for Baylor.
Great cross-court swing there by Lauren Harrison. Just sees the court so well when she goes up to swing.
The ball off the pin, and it's going to be another point gift wrap for the Bears. They're getting closer now to these critical late points. TCU needs a stop, a side out, and a run.
We talked about it early, but we can't, if you're TCU, you can't let this Baylor offense be in system. They're just too talented and have too many weapons. So it all really does start with that serve and getting them out of system.
Williams able to save this rally on that pin. She'll set Presley from the back row. A big swing, but into the block of Lachey Harper. Jill Kramer wants to use her final timeout before this one completely slips away. Baylor now expanding that lead to 7 as true freshman a year ago. So coming out of TCU's final timeout, Baylor up by 7. And a nice adjustment in midair by Michaela Myers. I say that ball not in.
We talk about how this TCU team really is very young, and I think that's got to be exciting for Jill Kramer to look at what she has on the court right now and already feeling like with so many of these kids being sophomores that by the time they're seniors, these girls have all been playing for about 4 years full time.
I want to go back to my first impression. That ball was in, and it is a point for TCU.
Great run down there by Bella Swafford.
Oh, instant return. Just right place, right time. Katie Clark was so strong on her swing, it ricocheted all the way back over, and the Horned Frogs will come away with the point.
Big swing there by Afedo Mignon to put that away, and that's what we saw from her last night when she hit 375 against Baylor in their opening match.
Katie Clark came into today with 495 kills for the junior, including 12 yesterday. Getting close to that 500 mark.
And that's the way to get there with that hit from the outside straight down in front of the 10-foot line.
She plays well against top-level competition, including her career against Baylor. Let's serve. Harrison. So again, Lauren Harrison started her career off after growing up in Georgia, going to the ACC, being a North Carolina Tar Heel. She arrives with 3 full years of eligibility. That does not include this year's exempt season. So she very well could be the kind of player that you don't remember a time when she wasn't a Baylor Bear. Mignon.
Now we talk about how it was a detriment for these players to miss their spring season. But in all reality, if they're adding a season on, it's pretty incredible that they're getting this extra experience.
Callie Williams, 2 aces yesterday, 2 of the 6 for Baylor. I mentioned, of course, her dad is in charge of coaching the serving for Baylor. A struggle with the serve receive and really never got past that. Ball into the pin. And Baylor now just needs 2 points. It was a struggle early, but the Bears starting to pull away here in this opening frame. And Williams played high school 2 different spots. When her dad Jason got the job in Baylor, that meant she moved down south on I-35. And all she did by adding herself to the Midway high school roster here in town was help make them, by most accounts, the #1 team in the nation.
Yes, all of Waco, Texas was celebrating when the Williams family moved to Waco.
Here's Kate Georgiades again, made her debut as a Horned Frog yesterday. And it'll be set point coming up for Baylor.
Lauren Harrison doing that one in style. She hits just as hard on the right side as she does on the outside.
She hit 500 yesterday. Best clip of any Bear.
Really just doesn't make a lot of mistakes, and that is exactly what you want in an outside hitter that's playing so many minutes for your team so consistently. Lauren Harrison is such a good addition to this field.
And a lot of the TCU players from Texas. There's plenty of purple in the house as well. A total of 800 fans, whether rooting for the Bears or the Horned Frogs last night. And another nice crowd here today. It's the benefit of Baylor's home being the Farrell Center, where they can lift that curtain and really let people spread out. TCU found an early lead in set one. Can they do it again here? Mignon. A free ball there for TCU, unable to put it away. Marika Vandermark with an error there on the right pin.
Just out of bounds, but we saw Marika Vandermark, another one of Baylor's players with over 10 kills last night. And it's just her versatility. She obviously has the height, but she's also so smart with her shots. She hits sharp cross court and then right down the line, and then we see her hit one like that.
Again, nice recovery by the libero Dennison. Presley. Back row, well done by Georgiades, the freshman. They're going to go back to the pride of the Netherlands. Mignon over the double block, and it carries long. So they're able to affect the swing of Mignon, who yesterday was second for TCU with her 8 kills, hitting .375. She was the most successful per swing. And Jill Kramer opts not to step in for the third touch there.
Even though she probably very well could.
She's been a great option historically.
No, Jill Kramer is awesome. I think you always have certain coaches, for whatever reason, you look up to when you're playing as a player, and I always thought Jill Kramer, just the way her student athletes treated her, the way they respected her, was always something that I admired.
Dig for Williams, sent back over by McGee. And punched over by Myers for TCU. Yassiana Presley able to tool the block.
Straight through it. Such great chemistry with setter Callie Williams. We talked about for the previous 3 years, Yassiana Presley has been with other All-American Hannah, formerly Locken Sedgwick, who's out with an injury. But great to see that her and Callie Williams are able to have that chemistry as well.
The fingertips poked over by Julia Adams.
Just out of bounds on that one. Julie Adams saw the block and was able to tool it well.
Another look. So that'll win the serve back over to Danny Dennison, the senior libero. Made the final 9-star set libero. That was a top that got passed around a lot last year for TCU before she took it over. She's been a constant. This is her 91st straight match for the Horned Frogs.
Good tough serve there by Danny Dennison, making the Baylor defense miss.
Williams back to Presley.
Woo!
If you are the brand new setter for a national semifinalist team, what better way to fit right in than go right back to the National Player of the Year? If not the first time, she'll get you the second time.
She absolutely will. It would be so much fun to be Yassiana Presley's setter.
Baylor out to a 2-point lead here early in this second set after taking the first frame. It was a 25-17 win in that first set today. Vandermark trying to set off the fire sprinklers. And into the net goes Adams.
Little bit out of system there from the Vandermark swing on the TCU side.
just into the net. Another serve from Marika, and that time the error will give TCU its 4th point.
Vandermark transitioning into the jump topspin serve last year, something that Ryan McGuire is really excited about. But it is one of those serves that is a very high risk, high reward. When you're throwing the ball that high, there's a lot that can go wrong before it comes down, but she has grown immensely in her consistency of that serve.
Whistle at the net. Horned Frogs the guilty party. Well, the campus of TCU has already had a good day. They tuned in first to that football game in Austin, where their Horned Frogs, Gary Patterson's men, picking up the victory. Now they're hoping that their women here in Waco can knock off the #2 team in the nation. They'll see that second point slip away. Baylor now up 8-4.
Just out of bounds for Julia Adams. We've seen her take a lot of swings in these past few points, and I think what's happening is Baylor's getting them so out of system that they're having to force the outside. Julia Adams finds a way. Very smart player, and that right there is why Jill Kramer's so excited about what her upside is.
Adams trying to get TCU back on track. Horned Frogs unable to get a run going there. Baylor 10-2 all time in Waco against TCU.
Great swing there by Karen McGee. 3 kills on 5 attempts, hitting 600, exactly what you want out of a middle, to be extremely efficient and very productive.
Harrison. That one clipped a couple of Horned Frogs on its way out.
I love the tag team for Baylor that is the Yassiana Presley, Lauren Harrison outside hitter, because there's so much comfort for a setter to know that they always have an outside option.
First set went the way of #2 Baylor. They are up by 5. National championships from his days leading Cal Baptist, which has since gone D1. Used to juggle both men and women in the indoor game. He's coached at all levels, and he is coaching very much at the highest level these days. Last year took Baylor to their first ever #1 national ranking, #1 national seed. Baylor was able to host each of the first 2 weekends of that NCAA tournament last year. Just a special way to send the women off to Pittsburgh. Ultimately would fall to Wisconsin. Callie Williams had to be a spectator back then, cheer on her home team.
So cool to see how many levels Ryan McGuire has been successful at. And just speaking to that a little bit when he made his speech as National Coach of the Year, just the number of people who were so genuinely excited for him because they knew him from coaching against him, whatever level that may be, just speaks so much to who he is as a person and to his character.
So a moment ago, 10-5 at the break. Baylor inching that lead up to 6 now. Into the block. And both Vandermark as well as one of her newest teammates, Lachey Harper, on the spot.
There are certain times you get blocked and it's bummer, I'll do something different next time. And then there's certain times you get blocked and the next time you go up, you're thinking about how someone shut you down. And I do think the way Marika Vandermark and Lachey Harper just blocked that ball is the latter.
Able to recover there with the swing from Adams.
Great scramble on the TCU side, just couldn't quite get it back over.
4-hit violation officially for TCU. And Jill Kramer is going to ask for another timeout. So her last timeout was at 10-5. Since then, Baylor has taken 4 of the next 5 points. As you look into the huddle of Baylor.
Fans, look up to Baylor Vision and find out one thing the team learned during quarantine.
just to her right was the newlywed that she replaced.
Yeah, great to have the Williams family here in Waco. Jason has done so much for this Baylor volleyball program. We talked about some of the things he focuses on, but it's a lot of serving. You'll see him step in and set and run the offense for the opposite side, and then also really big on getting scouting reports for the team.
Callie's mom, Corey, final note, was the first ever volleyball inductee into the Baylor Athletics Hall of Fame. There has since been one more. I have a feeling in the next several years we're going to see a flurry of inductees. Maybe somebody will go in both as a player and a broadcaster.
Maybe so.
Just to be clear, not me. TCU trying to get back on track. Being able to bring back in Mignon should help. As Berkeley Baker will head back to the bench. And again, TCU team that one of the things they did really well yesterday was limit the service errors. We'll give away a point there.
We talked early on about how important it was going to be for TCU to serve tough. I think there's always kind of that threshold where you see, is it good to be consistent? Yes, but to get a team like Baylor out of system, you might have to put in some more risky serves, and that might just be what TCU is trying to do.
Just 2 all of yesterday, already their 3rd today. As you noted, there is risk reward, and a lot of teams will overlook the errors in favor of some tougher serving. Presley. Adams was all by herself on that back row, able to handle it. Moments later, it is the dynamic duo these days of Harper and Vandermark.
Their second block, both done in very clean fashions. Great to see 2 people next to each other like that haven't played a season before like this and block so perfectly together.
They are a combined 12'8". Adams on the serve receive.
Adams really is that true 6th rotation outside hitter for TCU.
Grayson Sherpick, who made her TCU debut yesterday in the 3rd and final set, comes in here in the 2nd set and gets results. She went to Rouse High School just north of Austin, a little south of us, the same high school that produced former Horned Frog Elon McCall.
Talking to Kramer earlier this week, a lot of excitement about Sherpick. Standing at 5'10", a little bit undersized, but by no means does she play like it. Kramer was the first to say that she's a big hitter, but also can play defense extremely well.
Williams with the dunk. Well, she had the Horned Frogs looking at Harper a moment ago. You still have Presley and Vandermark up front, so you can understand why they let their eyes slip off the setter.
Good look there again at Callie Williams, who we mentioned earlier, hit over 400. I believe she was hitting 500, which is always fun numbers to see for an aggressive setter. And she digs too, but a great swing by Mignon.
So you think if Hannah Sedgwick comes back healthy, Callie Williams might be maybe taking the job away from Yassiana or Lauren on the outside?
You know, you heard it here first. Don't tell Yossi and Lauren. They both know I'm their biggest fans.
Still a chance, but unable to recover. Baylor able to put that one away. Up by 10 here in the 2nd set. Largest lead they've had in a frame yesterday or today.
Talking to some of the coaches about the change in layout, format of some of these facilities, they were excited that pushing some of the fans back did mean bigger playing surfaces. I think we saw a little bit of that on that run now by TCU.
Well, and even more so, TCU will notice that next weekend when they host Texas Tech inside their new home moving forward in Schollmeyer.
Which is pretty similar in size and layout to the Farrell Center. So what a good practice run for them.
Vandermark, great serve, but even better job by Adams. And Adams will put it away. A little give and go. As Julia Adams also comes up with the punctuation.
Really heavy swing. We saw it a lot last night, but Julia Adams hits the ball hard, but she also just puts an extra weight on it that makes it even harder for a player to dig.
Berkeley Baker, academic all Big 12 with the serve. They're unable to keep the service going for the senior. Baylor 4 points away from giving themselves an opportunity for another sweep. Moving into the third set.
Something to note is Baylor has never lost a match when they've been up 2-0 against an opponent. So not a situation you really want to put them in if you're if you are TCU.
Yeah, they've been remarkable under Ryan McGuire. Presley.
I love it. I absolutely.
She's a big part of the reason why they don't squander 2-set leads.
Absolutely. I mean, just soars from that back line.
Presley continues her service. And into the net goes Nichols with the left hand, the former high school All-American. Can Yassiana find the final 2 points here for Baylor? She's from the Houston area, went to Cy Falls High School. That area just exploding in population for the past decade plus. Into the block, McGee comes through, and it is set point for Baylor, looking to take the first 2 frames.
Here McGee in the middle, the way she moves to both pins is just so hard to get around as a hitter.
Baylor wants that ball to have bitten TCU on its way down. They're going to say it did. So that is how set number 2 comes to a conclusion. Baylor a commanding 25-10. That will send us to a third set. For Ryan McGuire's women, look for a short set there his first year. She arrived on campus the same day he did. Fanning now Stafford.
Yes, playing professionally in Poland and extremely successful over there, but no one is surprised by that. Gia Milana, the 6th senior, in addition to the 4 we saw earlier, also playing professionally and having a lot of success. So
one of his bigger disappointments, the result of the pandemic, was there was no banquet with that year's group. But certainly great that they'll be able to celebrate with some of them here after this matchup. Horned Frogs have done a nice job capturing the first point. Can they build on it? Sarah Swanson, the senior out of Nebraska, with the serve after this opening point, going the way of TCU. Presley long. Remember, this was a Baylor team last year that in non-conference play not only knocked off countless top 25 and even top 5 opponents on the road, they only dropped 1 set in non-conference play, if I recall correctly.
yeah, that is the most mind-blowing thing to me about all the successes they had last season, is the fact that they could only drop 1 set. That just goes to show how locked in all of those players on the court were, and just a crazy amount of consistency coming from that Baylor program last season.
Now Bram Schreiber, the junior back from last year's squad. This year wearing that libero top. Presley. We'll go back to Yoss. Dennison able to get underneath it. And it's Vandermark defending the right pin.
3 blocks in maybe the past 10 minutes for Marika Vandermark, all done with extreme style.
She's 6'6" with her arms down. Bram Schreiber. Nothing fancy, but very effective. Michaela Myers, the, again, sophomore transfer. Arrived on campus back in January. Both teams obviously would like those early enrollees to have benefited from this past spring.
Myers out of Coppell, Texas, close neighbors with a lot of her teammates, played club with Mackenzie Nichols, Katie Clark, and Berkeley Baker. So while they're a young team, they've also been able to play club together. They came into TCU around the same time. So definitely an experienced group of players.
Yeah, a lot of great high school programs, and obviously the club scene as well. Baylor's only dropped 3 sets this year. Unfortunately for them, all 3 were in the same match against Kansas to open the season. They then swept the Jayhawks in Lawrence the next day. Sweep against TCU yesterday, and Vandermark celebrates the point. Baylor is up by 1.
6 kills on 8 attempts for Kara McGee. She is a weapon in the middle.
Vandermark, who has aspirations of playing on behalf of the Dutch in the Olympics. Mignon, high over the block. Won't get down in time. Jill Kramer is going to make a change here. Alyssa Heist will come on in place of Mackenzie Nichols. The freshman Alyssa grew up watching her sister Alexia play for TCU. Alyssa's enrolled this past spring. The Heists out of El Paso. And here is Heist setting over that right pin.
Great angle by Chanel Bramschreiber down the line.
Again, what they love in Chanel Bramschreiber at libero are her hands and her ability to set as well. She'll get the assist there. Or pardon me, the initial pass.
The assist to the assist.
Yeah, a hockey assist, if you will.
Marika Vandermark stringing together several of these top spins. Oh my goodness.
Kara McGee.
It's like it just keeps getting harder and she doesn't make any mistakes.
Sophomore from the Alamo City.
Goodness gracious.
Shelly who?
No, Shelly will be in the record books for a long, long time. No one's erasing her name, but Kara can go right next to her.
I'm still going to say you're the one who said that.
Deal.
Baylor will bring Emily Van Slade on in place of Marika Vandermark. And for TCU, we'll see Bella Swafford come on, the sophomore from Johnson City. Went to LBJ High.
Swafford did not commit a receiving error in Big 12 play last season. In 12 matches, she never messed up in serve receive.
She is one of the players who competes both indoors and in beach. But Baylor able to claim this next point, now up 8-4. As they went back to McGee.
And why wouldn't they? That is her 9th kill on only 11 attempts. She's hitting .818, incredible numbers.
Mignon into the block. And that one gets down for Baylor.
Jill Kramer looking to challenge.
Why not?
Sounding like they're challenging whether the ball was in or out. Good look there at Kramer. We talked about how her husband is Dutch, so she's always had a certain excitement about Marika Vandermark and her success.
Yeah, probably takes about 1 weekend off now a year from rooting for Marika. Yeah, her husband Willem. And we bragged about the Baylor crowds. TCU last year had fantastic support as well. It's why they were already eyeing moving over to the basketball arena, as Baylor now up 10-5. That was standing room only for a couple of years there up in Fort Worth. And it is due to lack of originality, Kara McGee once again.
Such a smart shot, and she's only a sophomore.
McGee with the serve now. And a nice little whip of the right arm from Sarah Swanson. Had her season high last year of 7 kills against Baylor.
Swanson from Elkhorn, Nebraska, majoring in education and planning to be a kindergarten teacher.
Katie has all this written on her hands. I assume she's taking a full semester of how to Zoom with 6-year-olds.
That is something I can't even imagine.
Again, Lachey Harper is the one who reached out to Baylor. She was very accomplished over at UCF for Coach Ton Dagenet over in the American Athletic Conference. She got her undergraduate degree, was a free agent. Knew some people who had played for Baylor. And the Bears were thrilled to have her after Lachey had played with Nicole in club. Horned Frogs need a run, and they must win set number 3. Callie Williams has just been smiling nonstop.
She's a happy girl. Why wouldn't you be?
It's not a stat, but if it was, you can find that with assists for at least a double-double. And right now, her Bears enjoying it. 2 sets down, looking for the sweep. They lead 12-6 here in this third frame. Baylor Bears, preseason picked 2nd in the Big 12 behind Jared Elliott's Longhorns, who are ranked number 1 right now in the country. And of course, that poll is missing a couple of Division I conferences, as are most polls in a variety of sports. Horned Frogs hoping to reset during that last break as they pull back within 5. Lincoln Rose along with Katie Stager-Smith. Great to have you with us. As another look at the kill from Sarah Swanson. Swanson tied for the team high 5 kills today. Baylor with 2 players hitting in double digits, including Kara McGee with 10 kills. Vandermark right there was eyeing what would have been her 4th. A 4-hit violation on the Horned Frogs will give Baylor point number 13. Campbell Bowden, again, didn't play last weekend, didn't travel to Lawrence, so she made her Baylor debut yesterday, and a nice debut it was. Her service will be cut short.
Big, heavy swing by Katie Clark, who led the Horned Frogs in kills last night. Baylor's done a good job limiting her. She only has 4 kills so far today.
Yeah, that's 499 kills now in Katie Clark's career. Presley gets the better of that exchange.
Great job by Presley seeing the block and tooling it, but we are not surprised.
Alciano, one of 2 Baylor Bears in double figures in kills tonight.
That last graphic there showed us that Baylor's hitting .380 and TCU's hitting -37. So kind of showing what the discrepancy here is in the match tonight.
Obviously, all of our exit polls could be flawed. Not many flaws there at the net, however. Ramschreiber's serve continues.
Ramschreiber wearing the new Baylor Volt jersey. We saw the rest of the team wearing it last night, so their first time wearing that new color.
She'll be among the women picking up a ring after this match. And no luck for Clark that time.
That'll make 4 blocks for Marika Vandermark tonight. Marina, what am I saying, Marika? Sorry.
Distant cousin?
Yeah. It was funny. People always got us confused from behind when we played together. Rightfully so. I just felt like she was taller, could jump higher than me. I took it as a compliment.
I mean, I don't want to sit behind either of you in a movie theater. Bram Schreiber continuing this run from the service line has stretched the lead out to none. Horned Frogs trying to get back on track. Block for Baylor, kept that rally going, and TCU able to put the point away. 25th season of volleyball for the Horned Frogs. They've played in 4 conferences during that span. A little brief flirtation with the Mountain West after time in the all over the right side. Mignon.
Callie Williams just kind of taking that one, but great defense on her end.
McGee with her 11th kill. And hitting better than 800 tonight. There's almost a 5th conference. Remember, TCU is headed to the Big East before the Big 12 offered the invite. I have a feeling TCU has found its permanent home here in the Big 12, reunited with some of its old Southwest Conference rivals.
Yeah, definitely a good rivalry. Location-wise, it makes sense. They're kind of right in the middle of all the teams in the Big 12 Conference.
Big 12 with happy to have an excuse to go up to the Dallas area for recruiting. Baylor 6 points away from getting that ring ceremony underway, celebrating last year's team.
Just a freshman on that team was Kara McGee, who returns this year with 12 kills on 14 attempts right now. She's hitting .857 and playing out of her mind.
We see KJ Johnson for a 2nd straight day. But Horned Frogs will make sure her service is short-lived. As you see Michaela Myers rotating off. Serve from Dennison. Harrison, who's been relatively quiet compared to her first 3 matches as a Bear, but again, big part of that is out of necessity. They haven't needed to rely on her with plenty of options.
Yeah, I mean, even looking at her numbers, she has 6 kills on 11 attempts. She's doing great, but that does just speak to this Baylor team and the amount of options they have.
And a violation on Baylor. So again, the senior Baker with the serve for TCU. Williams. Lauren Harrison not outthinking herself, keeps it simple and puts the burden on TCU.
I really don't know how you effectively scout this Baylor team. Seeing different people get hot at different moments, you just are going to have to constantly be changing your block.
Callie Williams.
Not a tall setter, standing at 5'9", but extremely offensive, extremely aggressive, and goes up with the best of them. I love the way that Callie Williams plays.
And it's Baylor up by 10, 3 points away from closing this one out. And the serve stays with Williams. Nice job by Johnson on the dig. Looking to return the favor on the dump there from Nichols. Ball is in, 23-12 Baylor.
Vandermark about a foot above everyone on that swing. The block was not even a factor. She just hit it straight over to that back line.
And started off in high school up at Bishop Lynch. We're making her way down to Waco's Midway.
I sadly have to say that Bishop Lynch defeated my high school in the state championship.
You're in good company. They took down a lot of good teams along the way.
Yeah, but it still stings as I sit here, I don't know, 8 years later.
You're going to have to clarify which of those 3 state titles that she won with Bishop Lynch that you're talking about.
Oh, the one where I was the oldest.
So not match point just yet. Williams will send it back over. Oh, nice little roll from Swanson. Don't know if it was intentional or not, but it worked. A little English on that ball. It's back-to-back points for TCU. Graham Schreiber denies him the ace. Johnson. Horned Frogs getting something together here late. It's the freshman Grayson Sherpick now.
Grayson Sherpick with 2 kills on 2 attempts, so pretty good for her debut.
She qualified for the state high jump, showed off her ups right there. But now the elusive 24th point on the board for Baylor. It is match point. Looking for their 2nd straight sweep against the Horned Frogs and their 3rd straight sweep in Big 12 play. And they will entrust the serve to the redshirt freshman, Campbell Bowden. She's a high school teammate of Alyssa Heist of TCU. And there is your match. Baylor with its 3rd straight sweep in Big 12 play.